Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name's Oliver. So for today's video, we have an episode recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 7. This is a very, very, very exciting episode because it is technically a... Why can't I think of the word? I was gonna say like a collab or a mashup. Like it's a crossover. It's a crossover episode with Below Deck. And so we'll see everything from Below Deck's perspective whenever that new season comes. But very interesting. So first they all arrive at the airport and they fly to Newark and then to Barbados and then to Canawan. The boat that they're going on is huge, like very much huge. They meet up with Captain Jason and Jason is like, ladies, we're gonna get you nice and wet. And then they get some champagne and some margarita shots, and Brittany's very much infatuated with one of the sailors. Lisa and Meredith end up sharing a room, Angie and Mary share a room, and then Brittany and Bronwyn are actually sharing a room. Oh, by the way, Bronwyn isn't there yet. She is like still kind of dealing with some stuff with her lawsuits or the fallout of it and whatnot. We'll get into that in a little bit, but Bronwyn is on the way though. And also Heather and Whitney are sharing a room. It's funny because everyone is fed up with Jared, so they said if Brittany says Jared's name then they'll splash her with water. So Brittany intentionally said Jared like 5 times and then Meredith splashes her with water. And then the crew says that Bronwyn is on her way. Bronwyn arrives and it looks like she's a little bit anxious or nervous. Lisa's like, LOL, this might be karma because you were coming for me so hard, but you have skeletons in your closet. Then they tell Bronwyn that she's sleeping in the same bed as Brittany, and she's like, I'm not Jared, Brittany, just so you know. And then they're like, oops, someone said Jared, and they splash Brittany with more water. And then later on, Meredith and Lisa go to their room, and they're wondering if Bronwyn's gonna bring up any of her stuff. Then Bronwyn and Brittany are talking in the room, and Bronwyn's like, someone in this group definitely planted these stories, like 100% someone did. And Brittany's like, really, you think so? And Bronwyn's like, absolutely, because this stuff was sealed, like it's not normal stuff, like this was sealed. And they're finally at lunch and they're talking about Bronwyn, and Bronwyn said the part about her not paying her last month of rent at BYU, and that was one of the cases. And then the other thing, which was that there were charges against someone else, but she was involved with the case and the charges went through, so her name was attached and it just came up. So she said she can't talk about it because it's sealed. It was something at her job or something like that. Bronwyn says that she thinks that someone in the group leaked it. Lisa said no one would do that here, and everyone's looking around like, okay. And then Whitney's like, how are they getting the information that's dug up then? And how is it being spun? And then Bronwyn said after Amy's party, it intensified a lot. And then Lisa's getting defensive, so everyone's kind of clocking it. And then they all get in the water, and Heather said that she would ride Captain Jason like a bronco. Oh, the good time girl, Heather. Love her. Brittany's also in pursuit of one of the, I think, deckhands. And then also, when the people that are in the water, they low-key floated far away, and this resulted in Angie getting insanely seasick, and she's throwing up in the water. And she's down bad pretty much for the rest of the night. So, anyways, Bronwyn goes into her room with Whitney, and she shows Whitney the unicorn that Jared got for Brittany that plays his voice whenever she presses a button on it or whatever. At the same time, Brittany is awkwardly flirting with one of the deckhands because she loves his accent. And then Whitney and Bronwyn are talking about how they think that Lisa is leaking all this stuff. Then after this, Whitney actually goes into her room, and so she's talking with Heather about how they think it's Lisa. They bring in Meredith, and they're like, it's very suspicious how like all this is happening, but Meredith is basically like, there's no proof though. So then moving on, Mary stays with Angie to eat in their room while everyone else goes to dinner, remember, because Angie is pretty much like down bad for the rest of the night. And the rest of them eat dinner, and then Heather says she misses Angie and Mary's commentary, and then Brittany's like, I don't miss Mary's commentary. And Heather's like, Brittany, we have a rule, you can't just shit talk someone who's not there. And then Brittany's like, I don't. And then Bronwyn's like, Brittany, you literally said that Meredith pretends to have seizures and that she goes from 0 to 100 real quick, and that she is just all an act, and that Lisa little sisters her. Then Meredith gets activated, and in the most demure form, she throws a little bit of water onto Brittany. And then Brittany tries to throw water onto Meredith, but Meredith actually waterboards the water away. Like, she just did this, and the... Meredith even posted this on Instagram. She said, I discovered my new talent, hashtag waterbending, with the picture of her pretty much waterbending that. I know it's kind of blurry, but that's what's happening. Brittany's saying that she's tired of being disrespected by Meredith. The deckhand brings a vacuum, I think, to vacuum up the glass that was broken or whatnot. Then Meredith brings up Brittany recording them and all the other nasty things she's done, and then Heather's like, we all need to own up to our own things. And then Whitney's like, yeah, you and Meredith need to own up to the combo that we had earlier. And then Heather's like, okay, well, let me be real with you, Lisa, I think you're the source of all the dirt. Lisa's like, wait, why are y'all questioning me? Like, it's not true. And also, Meredith, since you were part of the conversation, I hope you defended me. And then Lisa's like, I'm the mother effing Dawn of Salt Lake City, I guess, because this is just so weird. And then Mary and Angie are enjoying their peace and quiet, and then Lisa's up there crying and it's like, F you, Heather. And then Lisa's like, I've been called a cheater, and Jen Shaw, like, you're lucky I talked to any of you. Then Heather's like, F off with that and own it that you're the source of the dirt. And then Heather's like, you're such a defensive effing bitch. And then Lisa is like, what do you want me to say? And then Heather's like, I think you're the source of the dirt. And Lisa's like, okay, then I can't be your friend. And then Lisa's pointing at everyone and is like, what if you're the leak? 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 Then Heather's like, you need to get off the effing yacht if you don't want to hear what I have to say. Basically, the chef was trying to come out and say something while they're all arguing, and then the chef just goes back and he's just like, I'm not dealing with that. And actually Captain Jason was gonna go out and eat with them too. He's like, never mind. Then Lisa gets up and walks away and calls John, and Lisa's like, Heather, get the F away from me right now. And then Lisa's still crying and is like, I've never done anything to them. Then Lisa goes downstairs to the water and sits at the edge. Then Heather goes to Angie and Mary crying, and they're basically consoling her. And then Mary's like, yeah, Heather, you're just being a real friend. They tell Heather that Captain Jason came down there to tell him all the tea. Brittany goes to check on Lisa, and Lisa's like, I don't want anyone near me, and basically pushes her away, and Lisa's still crying, and she's like, why would they do this to me? And then the episode ends. Very fascinating. I'm thoroughly enjoying this season of Salt Lake City. It's just wonderful. It's just great. And I can't wait to see more. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did making it. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.